Hi everyone. Are we all good here? Just let me know if you can see or hear me. It's good to hopefully. Oh, actually, there we go. There we are. Oh, that is loud. Excuse me, everybody. All right, that sounds a lot better. Make sure that's in the yellow. Okay, how about that? All right, good. Hello everyone. Welcome to yet another Sutton United show. Armin with you here from his house once again. A good showing in prospects. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. This week is a little bit more focused on the women's team. We had a lot more on the first team. I have to apologise, of course, for the timing as well. I had a little bit of an errand to run. If the stream does lag a little bit, that's mainly due to some internet problems that are currently going on in my area. So I apologise for that in advance. Hopefully you can get me okay and that things are going fine. So first of all, we should get Mr. Duncan Muller on, the Sutton United women's manager. He's been very keen and very excited to talk about the team and their success this season. So Duncan, hi mate, how are you doing?
Hi, mate. Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm alright, pals. Good to have you on. First of all, let's talk about right now. How is everything with you, and how are you coping with this downtime we've suddenly been thrown upon us?
I'm good, thank you. Very well. Family's all good, so that's the main thing. Speaking to the players quite a bit. Everyone's safe, everyone's well, but obviously you're missing the game and wanting to get back out playing straight away. But obviously other things are more important at the moment. But we're keeping positive, and hopefully it won't be long before we're back playing again.
It's very good to obviously hear of your successes this season, and most notably, or your victory against Palace, which we will be showing you everyone on the stream. Talk to me about your memories of that game. Obviously, it feels like it's a long time ago, but I'm sure it still holds true to you even to this very moment.
Sorry, I lost you slightly. Say that again.
We wanted to talk. Yeah, just looking back on the Palace game. We had a very good crowd that day. It was the last game at Gandhi Lane before the enforced lockdown. I wanted to, invoke your memories of the game, the day itself, how massive an achievement it was to make it to the Capital Final.
It's somewhat bittersweet now because obviously knowing that we possibly won't ever play that finals, taking the shine off it a bit. But you have to look at the performance itself, and the players on the day were fantastic. They did everything we asked of them. Like you say, there was a good crowd there, so that helps. There's a positive performance of the team, pretty much dominated from start to finish. Probably should have been more than 1-0. Some questionable refereeing decisions that I've obviously made my opinions on already. But yeah, I mean, it's sad that obviously there's a massive chance now that final won't take place. It hasn't been cancelled at the moment. It's still on the postponed list. But having looked at the FA statement the other day, that they've cancelled all football at the moment for anything below Pyramid 3. It's highly unlikely it'll play, which is a shame. But I mean, the overall day was fantastic for us.
Absolutely brilliant. Talk to me about your feelings on the news this week regarding that postponement and the league being expunged from below the National League level. It's heartbreaking for a lot of teams, especially yourselves, because I think you were on a very good run at the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could have won the league. We would have needed to win all of our games, and maybe the team at the top, New London Lionesses, got points, but that wasn't unachievable, shall we say. We could have definitely made that, and obviously we would have been confident of winning the cup as well. I mean, the statement was no surprise, but I was surprised that they decided to do that prior to the Premier League announcing. I thought we were all waiting to see what the Premier League did, and then everyone would kind of follow suit from there. I think it's incredibly unfair. I think it's not even to consider looking at any other options. I mean, we had 3 league games left. They could have been played. If the Premiership resumes at some point in maybe, I don't think it'll be April, end of April, but if it resumes later than that, there's no reason why we couldn't have played those games. Now, I don't know how much people know about women's football at the lower leagues, but teams change teams fold. You don't always get the same teams sticking around every year. New teams come into the equation as well. So to repeat a whole season and to class that season as kind of null and void and say you've got to do it all again is going to be incredibly difficult. And we've already lodged a few complaints to the FA and to the league to query how they're going to deal with it. Because effectively we had 10 teams in our division last year. If teams folded, what would happen there? There's already a risk of financial implications for teams who might not be able to continue because of this. So it's a shame. I think they acted very hastily, and it seems to be a lot of people are kind of saying that they've made a decision on women's football without considering men's football. I know that obviously National League and below, with the men's side, they've made the same decision, and a lot of teams will take legal action, and quite rightly. I feel that they've been treated unfairly, personally. But it's an unprecedented situation. What can you do? I just think I think it's just been done very, very hastily without giving it a little bit more time. There's no rush to make that decision in March.
I agree. I feel like a lot of us will feel the same way about the men's game as well. But with the women doing so well, they were on the verge of promotion. I mean, there was a good chance they would have been in the National League as well had things gone well, and obviously had pre-season as well.
We wouldn't go into the National League yet. I mean, the way the pyramid works slightly, if you equate it to where the men's first team are, we're probably the same distance as the men's first team from the Premiership as we are to the women's top division.
Yeah.
So there's about six divisions between us and where Chelsea and Man City are. But considering we've only been running for 3 years, fantastic that we've got this far this quickly. It gets a bit complicated with the pyramid for women's football. The stages change sort of as you go up. But we've won back-to-back titles for the last 2 years. And we grow every year. We've got a fantastic side this year, and we were confident of going up. There is still a possibility that might happen. Like I said, if teams would fold in the division above us, I'd have to look at filling those. And normally it would go to the top two teams. So we're still hoping that something might happen. But if it doesn't, my lot are confident enough we'll go out and win the league next year.
That's very good to know, and hopefully we can see the women playing football sooner rather than later. Obviously, it's a shame with the results, but pending legal action being taken by numerous clubs in the nation, not just at women's level, we are hoping for a positive outcome. I'm sure. Do you feel as if there'll be any inroads on that legal action taken by the teams that are not happy with this decision by the FA?
I don't know. I mean, there was one club, I can't remember off the top of my head who were there. Well, I think they were below National League South in the men's league, who said they'd invested very heavily, spent a lot of money on gaining promotion, was something like 10 points clear of their league, and they are looking at legal action. I mean, I suppose it depends who can afford it. If one club sets the president gets that far down the line and takes legal action, then obviously they'll have to make a decision for everyone. We've been told by the Greater London League and the FA who deal with the women's section, there's no grounds to appeal. It's been made very clear in the emails that we've received that basically they've made a decision, that's it. Again, I think it's been hastily made, and again, I feel that they've not consulted us in any way. But I can see both sides of it. If I'm being diplomatic, it's very difficult to consult this many teams, and everyone's going to have their own opinion. So it's a no-win situation. But again, going back to what I said, for me, it's just been done far too quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, I wish I could see the live chat so I can get their opinions, but it's not working for me right now, so I apologise for that. But yeah, absolutely, it's a great shame that that's the case, and we feel the same way, not just for the men but for the women as well. They were in a great position and obviously close to winning the league, and yeah, we were also pretty excited to see the prospects of that team going further and beyond under you, Duncan. Speaking of the team itself, there are players that have stood up for you this season. Who exactly have you been impressed with and could go and make the leap further forward if it was up to you, of course? That being biased, I know you have favourites.
What you mean with us going further forward, or me getting rid of me letting them go to teams like that?
No, a bit of both mainly. I was thinking first First toot their horn a bit, and then see who you think might be the ones that will make a big difference further on.
I mean, obviously, we'd never stand in the way of anyone that's progressing. We obviously encourage that as best we can if it's done in the right way. We'd be very proud if someone achieved it who's got into the higher leagues at the highest level they could. But we've got some very, very talented young players in our team. We've got a young group of players, one or two experienced players, but I don't really want to single people out specifically. We've got two very, very young, exciting fullbacks in Jennifer Neves and Evie Nevitt. Both very, very quick, very strong, and very young. 16 Evie, 17 Jen. Both very good, very capable. We've got two very strong centre midfielders in Samara Graham and Keisha Small. A very good captain in Cindy Colliver, who some people will know. She's probably more of the face of our team for most people. And then going forward, obviously, we've had Faye Butler, who's been with me for a number of years now. He's kind of our equivalent to maybe Dundo, really. And she's been our main goal scorer for a number of years. Unfortunately, Faye is retiring this year, and it'll be a sad loss for us all. She's probably one of the best players I've ever seen in the Women's League. She's been absolutely sensational for me for a long time. But we've got Darcy Wells coming through now, who's probably take over Faye's mantle, I guess. She's been sensational last year and scored some very, very good goals. But I mean, I could name the whole team. I mean, I've not been disappointed with anyone this year. We've been lucky that we've had a very strong team, and obviously the credit goes to all of them and to the coaching staff.
Excellent. Well, we're going to give them some time to shine now. We're going to give the people who haven't been able to see the women's games an opportunity to watch them at their finest. We're now going to let them see them play Crystal Palace in the semi-final of the Capital Cup. A very good day, I'm sure, for all involved, and especially those who were at Gander Green Lane to witness it. I'm quite sure, heading into this game, there were a lot of nerves, Duncan, and I'm sure there was a lot of confidence too.
Yeah, a bit nervous. I mean, we'd had a cup game a couple of weeks before in the quarter-final of the League Cup and played Walton Casuals and didn't do ourselves justice at all. I mean, we should have won that game. So it was difficult to kind of keep the players grounded. Everyone gets nervous, no matter how experienced you are, no matter who you're playing, no matter how confident you are thinking that you're the side. But we started really well on that day. We were positive from the front foot. And I know, obviously, people who weren't at the game probably thought, 1-0, that was a close game. But it generally wasn't. I mean, Zoe Rinaldi, our goalkeeper, played very well, but she didn't have a great deal to do. I think she made one save in the whole game, and we should have really buried them a lot more. So yeah, they were a little bit nervous, but we had a long chat in the changing room, probably longer than we normally do, and the atmosphere in our changing room was always brilliant. Everyone's really good banter and stuff like that. Everyone's really chilled, and then they focus as soon as they go out. So yeah, they were confident, and I think that showed in the way we played.
Excellent. Well, here we go then. Sutton United Women versus Crystal Palace.
White clears it, looking for Wells. Wells controls it down well with her chest and sends it off to Neves. Wells makes a nice forward run. Neves goes for the curling ball. It's going to fall to Wells. She needs to bring it down, and she just doesn't quite get enough power on the ball. The ball is cleared away. Howell is easily able to get there, and she sends Clark through. Clark hesitating whether to go on her own. She goes for the shot. It's curling just away from the post. It was a good effort from Clark. Graham collects. Graham looks to send Butler through. It's a fantastic pass. Butler needs a good first touch. First touch is all right. Good tackle from the number 2, the centre half of Crystal Palace. She manages, but she gives the ball away straight away. And here's Wells with a hard shot. Falls to Howe, but Howe, it comes off her knee. Neves is running in. She's been dinked over the top. She needs to bring it under control. She has. She's got past one. She sends it across. Butler can't get on the end of it. Oh, and it's another wonderful chance.
Howell's long throw into the box, met by Butler. Nodded on once again by Clark. Keeper's trying to swing a leg at it. And it's in. 1-0.
Colliver to take the free kick. Nevitt headed on by Howe. Headed again by Butler. This could be great play. Flicked on. Here comes McNicholas. She needs to hit it first time. It comes back to Wells. Through the legs. Fumbled. Oh, unfortunate. Headed away. Comes to Small. Small dispossessed by the number 7. McNicholas coming in to try and get involved. Here comes Graham with a rocket. Oh, and it's just nestled on top of the roof of the net. I honestly thought that was in. Off the centre half. It comes off, cannons is off McNicholas, and here's an opportunity. Wells could send Butler through. Wells goes for the shot herself. It cannons off the leg, and now Halford needs to put the pressure on the right back here, and she does good enough to send it out for a throw. Ocampo to get on the end of it, and Sutton are through to the final. It was physical, it was tough, but it doesn't matter because Sutton United are into the final thanks to Darcy Wells' goal. They've beaten Crystal Palace, and we will be back for the final in due course.
Alright, welcome back everybody. You've seen why they are a highly talented and strong team, and obviously Duncan, that day was a brilliant day. Two goals. They mattered in the end against what I would assume be a very competitive Palace side.
One goal, yeah, it was 1-0.
Oh wow,
yeah, I mean,
my bad.
One of our most scrappiest goals of the season. Because Darcy doesn't score scrappy goals, but it was kind of like, as people have just seen, it was kind of the back post, and she got a little nick on it and finished it. But she, obviously, good strikers always in the right place. But yeah, I mean, we've only seen a few highlights of that. Obviously, we have the whole game recorded for us, and we analysed it all. And I think I looked with the analysts the other week, and I think we had something like 18 shots on target, which again isn't great though, because I mean 18 shots on target, we should be scoring 18 goals to me. But yeah, I mean very very pleased with the performance. They deserved it, and I think that shows.
Fantastic. I got a question. I'm having to rely on anyone who's outside of the stream to tell me if there's any questions, but there's one that's just come in, and it's, I can't say from who, but it is, what level does he think Sutton could play at in the years to come? So where do you think the women's team can go from here? Obviously you've mentioned where they are now, but there's a good potential about the side, and there's always a chance of seeing them in much more competitive football.
We have the potential and the structure to go all the way to the very top, all the way to the Super League basically. I mean, if you look at the ground that we have, a lot of teams in the Super League, exception of the likes of Man City, don't have their own ground. I mean, Tottenham don't play at Tottenham. I know they played a couple of games there, but they mostly play at Barnet, which is no different to our ground. Chelsea obviously playing at AFC Wimbledon's old ground, so a lot of teams don't have their own specific ground the way we do, or can't use their own ground. I mean, Arsenal don't play at the Emirates. So we have the structure there, we have the back end. I'm not sure how many people know how the club works, but obviously I work closely with the chairman. Bruce and Dave are always keen to find out what's going on. They're always interested in the team, and I work closely with Bobby Charles, who's the business development manager here, and does a lot for the women and girls section and the community section as a whole, I have to say. So we've got the infrastructure there. Financially is an issue, because obviously at the moment we want to be in a position where we can eventually get to the point where we can pay the players. We don't do that. We're not professionals at the moment. And obviously sponsorship's always a big issue, and especially now with what's going on, a lot of companies might not be able to continue. We've been very, very fortunate that we've had a very good sponsor for the last couple of years in Northern's local plumbing and business firm. I'm just plugging them a little bit there. They've done very, very well for us. I hope we can keep that partnership going, but like anything at the moment, it's all very difficult. But the belief and structure is there for the team to go as far as we possibly can, and we could go to that level. Interestingly enough, we can play on 3G in higher levels of women's football. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't affect us in any way. So yeah, I mean that's our aim. We kind of had a kind of 5-year plan when I first came in, and we're well on target, well above target at the moment.
Very good, very good. Well, we're wishing them well, of course. Another question coming in is obviously a friendly wish, and it is: will we see Sutton women playing Arsenal women in a friendly or in any form of competitive football? Obviously, people will be very keen to know. Will be very keen to remember the time the men met the Arsenal's first team in the FA Cup a few years back. But more or less, this is I think an idea that could be mooted. Duncan, best team one of the best teams in the country against Sutton.
I think if we're honest, they're not going to bring their first team to play us at the moment. Yeah, like Arsenal wouldn't bring their men's first team to play our men's first team at the moment. But it's a possibility we can probably look at one of the younger sides. I know there was talk of having an Arsenal event to coincide with the cup run we had obviously a couple of years ago, and talking about the disability side coming down, the men's team playing probably one of the Arsenal sides and us playing one of the Arsenal women's sides. So there is an idea there. I know Dave Fairbrother's mentioned it a couple of times to me. Hopefully it can happen further down the line, but I'm sure one day we'll play Arsenal. But I'm the Tottenham supporter, so I think we'll be beating them. I'm a Sutton United stroke Tottenham supporter, I should say.
There's a lot of Spurs supporters in my workplace, let me say that much. Yeah, there is actually, believe it or not. Let's talk about the future. Obviously, right now there's a very good team, and obviously it's a shame we'll lose Faye, and obviously if she is watching, thank you for your help this year and your services. We hope that that's not the last time you play football this year. We don't know what will happen, but in the meantime, that's a very good team, but we have a future to look forward to. You've had the privilege of preparing an academy with Marvin Williams, who's the youth coach at Sutton, and I understand that you have hopes for the future to get them into the bigger fish in the small pond.
Yeah, I mean, firstly on Faye, Faye will retire at the end of the season, but she is deputy head of football, so she's been my deputy for a while now, and she'll continue in that role, and she'll come in as a more administrative role in the club, and she'll offer her experience there. So it's fantastic that we don't lose her completely. She'll still be around and still be offering her support there.
Okay, so not in a playing capacity, but more or less now in a coaching role to support the new upcoming stars of the future, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah, without putting too much pressure on her straight away. I keep on her about her coaching badges and stuff, but she's got other things to deal with at the moment. She's still got a young daughter, so as soon as she gets time for things, then we'll go into that area of coaching. But at the moment, it's more of an administrative role and offering support and organisation to our section. I mean, because obviously we don't just deal with the first team, we deal with all the youth teams as well, from our under 10s all the way upwards. So there's quite a lot of work to be done, and I've got good support from her and from David Meek as well. Going forward in the future, yes, as you rightly say, Marvin has done an excellent job in progressing the academy on the boys' side. It's massive now. I can't believe the amount of students and kids he's got down there now, but it's very, very big. And he's this year made great strides in going forward with the women's academy with Carl Shorten. So that's going ahead. We had the first trial, I think, a couple of months ago, which was well attended. Obviously, he's had to postpone the other trials. But I spoke to him yesterday, and he's still moving ahead with it all. It's still going ahead. He's going to be speaking to players. He's already had people approaching and already got people on board. The idea is for them to enter into the Greater London Women's League Division 3, which will be below our under-21s at the moment. And then they can play for the under-21s and the first team if they're good enough. So that's all positive. With regards to the youth setup, we've done fantastically well since I came here. We've gone from having 1 to 11 teams now, including the first team. So I'd probably say we're the biggest growing women and girls section in our area at the moment. And that's credit to all the coaches and all the staff and everyone that's been involved in bringing that so far forward so quickly. We've got some very, very talented young players. Our under-13s got to the cup final, under-11s got to the cup final, but those cup finals have been cancelled. Under-14s, under-16s have got very good players. So we're hopeful that we'll bring those players through. That's always been our aim. We've always aimed to have one team in each age group, and then those players get promoted as soon as they're old enough, and hopefully we'll take someone from the under-10s all the way through, and eventually they'll get into the first team. And then we don't need to be recruiting from outside all the time. So it's very positive, very exciting times. Very good for all the young players here. Like the boys section is very well run, so are we. So it's all very good and very positive there.
Very good. We have a. I believe it or not, I was meant to say sorry because it's very hard to keep up with the stream right now. But I have watched some of the younger girls and boys playing on the pitches after the game, and some of them seem to have a lot of good skill about them, much better than some of the first team players, I like to say. But yeah, there's a lot of potential there, and they have trained very well. Especially, I think there was also, if I recall correctly, and this is on our channel. We had a day before a match there at Gandergreen Lane where there was a showcase of sorts. Am I right, Duncan?
When was that? Sorry.
I think it was a while back, a couple of weeks ago. Well, a couple of weeks before the Hartlepool game. It was a home game.
Side, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Steve King's side. I think they played pre-match. I'm not sure who they were playing. And I think Mike Nicholson had his boys team down there, and Matt was doing some coaching with them. We haven't done anything like that. It's always quite difficult because a lot of our players play Saturday football as well, and Sundays.
Would it be possible then to do something like that? I would like to see this. Actually, we've seen obviously with what Matt's done with the players there. What would you ever do such a thing with the girls as like a showcase for the fans who turn up early at Gandergreen Lane?
Yeah, we have done things before. Last year we did a kind of penalty shootout. We did a parade around the Leyton Orient game at the end of last year. And yeah, we definitely can look at doing something again next season where we'll get some of the younger players playing pre-match or maybe something at half-time. But I'll have a word with the chairman and with Matt and see how we can fit that in at some point, somewhere down the line, because I'm sure they would love to do that. They often are ball girls at games and really enjoy that, the younger kids, so they'll be delighted to be involved in anything. Yeah,
absolutely. I would love to see some of hopefully the future stars of women's football gracing the Gandergreen turf in the future. Another question that's come in is, has there been any transfers out to bigger teams yet for any of the players in the last few years? So has there been any big players that have gone out to big teams, or anyone of note that you sorely miss at Sutton?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. I mean, Alex White left for one season, then came back. A bit similar to Lewis John's situation. She went to a higher team and it didn't work out as planned. And we obviously welcomed her back. We've lost players. I mean, this is a different kind of situation to the professional men's team, where these players are not under long-term contracts. So you will lose players. Players go away for different things. People change careers. People's home life changes. People get pregnant in our games. Obviously, it doesn't happen in the men's game as such. My goalkeeper's pregnant at the moment. My physio's pregnant. One of my right backs pregnant. So we've had that to deal with this year. Hopefully they'll all come back.
We wish them well, of course.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. And they'll all want to play again. So there's the kind of situation you deal with. We had quite a few players leave last year for different reasons. People went to uni, things like that. So that always affects you. The captain left last year, which was a shame and a big blow. Obviously, Cindy's come in as a new captain and done very well. So it does change around. We haven't had anyone that has kind of been signed by Chelsea, if you like, or anything like that. The gap, again, it would be like Tottenham or Man United coming in.
Big,
for
huge
Harry
gap,
Newton
really.
Or someone like that, yeah? You know what I mean? He's not, with great respect, Harry's a fantastic player. But for you to go from National League to the Premiership in men's football would be unheard of, and it's very similar in our area. I mean, there is still a big gap between us and the likes of Chelsea and Man City if you go and watch them play. But there's no reason why we can't go and compete one day at that level.
Yeah, talk to me about the not just for Sutton, but in general, English football in general for women. In the last 5 years, it's come leaps and bounds with the women doing very well at the last 2 World Cups and being able to make it to the semi-finals of the European Championships. It's a bit in jeopardy, of course. The ones being held here next year, with obviously the men's Euros being moved to 2021, but. In your opinion, have you seen the evolution of women's football here in this country? And can you see England, as they're getting closer and closer as the years go by, winning a major tournament? It just seems as if they always have that little bit, but something always seems to stop them at the last second. Either bad luck or just a team better than them on the day.
I think it's a difficult one. I think they've done very well. They've progressed every year. obviously since Mark Sanson left, it's probably gone up a notch again with Phil Neville. But the difference between them and America is still massive. I mean, it's a huge sport in America, probably bigger than their men's team. If you look, that's why their women's American side are taking their own federation to court for equal pay, because they do more than their men's team. They bring in more financial income than their men's team.
Certainly.
So we're quite a way off as to where internationally we're competing with America at the moment. But we're moving in the right direction. I mean, it's growing. It's a massive sport. If you look at the attendances now, I mean, Tottenham obviously played Arsenal at Tottenham's new ground this year.
Yeah, I was there actually. I was. I can give my 2 cents on that one. It was a very good day, mind. It was a very good crowd. It was a very jovial family atmosphere. Everyone enjoyed it, even though Tottenham didn't play particularly well on that day. They could have taken a couple of their chances. They did come up against one of the best teams in the country in Arsenal, and more or less did play them off the park at times. But it does show the potential that is there in the game in this country. And with the women in America, it's hard to imagine that you win 2 World Cups and countless domestic championships in amongst North America, and you're sort of seen as second fiddle, which is not really a very fair assessment in my opinion, and it's very understandable the frustrations they're all going through.
Yeah, I think, the revenue side is a big issue, and there's always a big conversation about that, and there's always a lot of things said on social media about the equality between the two, and should women's football be paid, should their players be paid the same as the men's? It's a very difficult one, because the Premiership and even the National League and things like bring in a lot of money. The interest globally in men's football at that level is far greater than in women's football. That has to be honestly said. But the American situation is slightly different, but their national side is better than their men's side, and they're more successful in it, and they do bring in, through revenue and sponsorship and stuff, more money than the American side, so maybe they're slightly different to the rest. But in terms of teams like Tottenham and stuff, unless you're in the women's game, most people won't have the knowledge that they'll know where Tottenham are relatively new. I mean, Karen Hills has done a fantastic job with them, and she's been there a number of years. Yeah. But it wasn't that long ago that they were playing at our level. So it's not like the big teams that you've got in the Premiership and the men's side that have been there a long, long time. Arsenal have been around a long time, an awful long time. So for Tottenham to do as well as they've done, this is the first season they've been as high as they possibly can. And they're competing at a level above themselves at the moment and doing very well at it. So it is very different. I mean, there's probably teams in the higher leagues that they don't have men's sides. And they don't. Like teams like Doncaster Bells and that, when they were running, people would never heard of them because they don't have an equivalent men's side. So there's a lot of things that are slightly different there. But it often gets compared too closely to the men's game. You have to look at it as a different game and don't treat it the same way. Look at it as an individual sport and a sport separately from it. And other sports, females are no different. Tennis and stuff like that is a massive interest in women's tennis, so there should be in women's football.
Absolutely, I agree. So let's go back into the archives again. I've been hunting for a very notable result, and one that will hopefully keep our viewers in interest of Sutton United's women's team a bit more than they should be, is a game against London Academicals away from home a few years ago. I'm not going to spoil it, but before I show them, Duncan, give me your memories of that game. Try not to spoil the result, though.
Who did you say,
it was against London Academicals about a few years back, away from home. I'm not going to spoil the score, but you can give me your memories of the game and your opinion on it before I show the viewers what is pretty much just ridiculous game.
Okay. Right, you've lost me here. I have to be honest, I don't remember this game at all.
Yeah, it's a surprise, really. I've surprised you there. I wanted to make sure we give them as much airtime as possible, and also delve backwards. We do that a lot nowadays here. We're trying to keep the.
I've never seen any games filmed that are away from home, though.
Believe it or not, we have found one. You never know what we'll have.
It It must be a few years back. God, my memory's shocking.
Yeah.
As soon as I see it, I'll remember it.
All right. Well, here we go then. This is London Academicals versus Sutton United's women. A very notable result and a very big one as well.
Right. Okay.
Keisha, pull wide! Pull wide! Nice ball. Come on, Keisha. Put it in the box! Put it in the box! Great goal. Yeah, Keisha! Well played. Time, Alex. Go again, Alex. Someone else. Back in midfield. There you go. Go on, Stacey. Go on, Stacey. Great ball. Finish, Patrick. Great goal, Stacey. Well played there. Very unselfish. Well played. Excellent. Call her T. Call her T. Come on, Jodie. Yes, Jodie. Yes! Lovely header! Lovely header! Yes! Great goal! Your goal. Jodie! Pressure time! Great pressure! Case, run on! Maybe I should have said that. Well played.
Well then, Duncan. 10-4. A ridiculous result. And it was especially during the very, very first year of Sutton United women in existence.
Yeah, it's not bad in my memories. I couldn't remember it, but watching it now, I do remember it pretty well. I I mean, you look at the place; it's awful. Clapham Common was shocking. That was some of the grounds we used to go to back then. Absolutely diabolical.
Yeah.
But yeah, awful place. And we, I mean, looking at the team, we were pretty awful to start with. And I think we went 2-0 down as well. Pretty poor, and then just totally dominated after that. But looking at the team, I think there's only Alex White and Keisha Small that are still playing now for us. So practically changed the whole team from then. Keisha is the one that scored the blinding lob into the top left-hand corner.
That's a brilliant goal, yes.
And then we had Stacey scored, I think, 3. She came off the bench and scored a hat-trick. I think she got 3 absolute screamers from distance as well. But yeah, I mean, when we played well, we were far better than everyone. That's why we won the league that year. And obviously won the league every year since.
Yeah.
But yeah, you caught me out there. I was thinking, what the hell is this game you're going to show me? I can't remember that at all.
I thought we'd surprise you because it was a notable result. Our archives are full of matches, but that one stood out to me as like one of the very, very first that the women had that was documented. And you know, I thought so many goals, so much content. Why don't we give the people a chance to see it? And obviously they'll be able to see it again and again and again if they want on demand on our channel. But for those who didn't get to see it, it's quite a good, it's a good game to look at, and the standard of the pitch wasn't good.
We were trying to get games filmed. James was on at me all the time about trying to get people to film games, and it was always really difficult. Now, obviously, we've got a whole media team that do everything for us.
Yes.
So we don't need to worry. But I think, if I remember rightly, we had one of the subs doing that.
Yeah. So apologies for the filming quality, but you can't blame them. You have to get football one way or another. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good memories. They'll always be there. So it's good
Absolutely.
To that.
Well, Duncan, appreciate your time. I'm very, very happy we've given the women a chance to shine on our channel, and hopefully we have a resolution to the problems we're having right now. But obviously, it's been great having you on the show. Really appreciate you joining us, and to all of you and the women, we wish you well. We'll hopefully bring you back sometime soon.
Thank you, Ahmed. I wish everyone's well, and I hope everyone's safe, and all your families are well. And I hope to see you all at going to Green Lane soon. And thanks for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Fantastic, Duncan. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate your time, mate. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye-bye. Fantastic. Hey, great to hear from Duncan Muller there. He had a lot to say about the women's game and the adaptations that we've had to deal with in the last couple of years. And we all are hoping the women can get a bigger platform to play on in the future. But they have it there, the measure of the success that Sutton United are producing at the very moment. Now, we've already shown you once, but we're going to show you again. We are about to open our voting for the men's goal of the season, and there's a variety of them. Whether we play football again this year or not, we don't know. But let's give you the goals of the season one more time ahead of the opening of voting tomorrow.
Come to a party, people! Come inside! Come to a party!
Dear.
Whistle blown, taking 4 steps back, tying this up. If he doesn't take it quickly, the ball's going to move in the wind. Here comes, free kick, shot a goal, and it's in! What a goal! What a goal! Rob Nelson, take a bow, son. Get in. It's fairly simple as free kicks go. He's taken it. I don't think the Chorley goals jumped. I think they thought he was going to go under. He's taken it and he's managed to get it up and over in the right. We We just hit the 45 minute mark. If you're going to score, now's a chance. Whistle blown. 2 man stood over it. Milson leaves it. Collins shoots. And it's a goal! You team! Goal! Goal! El Capitan! Jamie Collins with the goal! Milson fooled me. Milson did he dummied it. I thought he was going to go for it. Jamie Collins with a David Luiz guess. Just boom, straight forward, isn't the net.
Sutherland, cleared away by Goodliff. Header won by absolute captain. Ajiboy gets there. Right points to where he wants the ball. Can Ajiboy feed him? That is some strike from David Ajiboy. Buteman was pointing to where he wanted it. Ajiboy chose to ignore him. And that was an emphatic finish.
And the ball won back by Ajiboy. Conor Wright having a shot. Conor Wright is a wonderful goal! Conor Wright for 25 yards. Thought, why not? Let me have a bang. And he's put it right past the goalkeeper into the right hand side. Kind of hour nothing here at Ganagry, and the whole stadium has woken up. Nothing more than Sutton have deserved so far in the second half. They had chance there, but it's cleared away by Eastman and then Davis. Davis nodding it forward for Barton. And now the counter attack on Sutton here. Here's McGill. McGill has options out wide. He finds Barton. And the bodies are fired in there for the use. Barton, it backs outside to McGill.
Comes the corner towards that near post where it was headed clear by Davis. Now maybe a counter-attack is on it. Well, would have been. Well, he has kept it in, Ajiboy. I thought that had gone out. Now they're really stretched here. Yeovil, Ajiboy goes on. It's a great chance. He squared it, brilliant ball, and they've taken the lead. It's the top scorer back in the side today. Harry Buteman, who makes his mark already. What a goal that is.
Ajiboy does brilliant to keep on there. I have no idea what Miles Hippolyte is doing. That is not a foul. And then all of a sudden they are completely outnumbered. And in this position now, you need to make the right decision. And he does that brilliantly. Squares it for Harry Buteman. Being too clever on the halfway line, Hippolyte gets caught. Goes past the end. Could he have taken him down and made the foul? Doesn't decide.
Good header from Ajiboy. Right, tries to send Ajiboy. Can do. Ajiboy! Oh, that is brilliant! That is brilliant from David Ajiboy! It's 4-0! We get to the 30th minute and it's 4-0! That is brilliant from David Ajiboy. That's the pick of the lot there. We've just ended the half-hour mark, and Sutton United have just made it 4-0.
Lovely turn, Buteman! What a goal from the skipper to get the use back into this right at the end of the first half. A moment of real quality there.
And Milson goes for it. Oh, Rob Milson! He's had a couple of poor free kicks today, but he certainly made up for it by placing it right into the top corner. A special hit there for Rob Milsom, breaks the deadlock here at Gangrene Lane and gives Sutton United a deserved lead here.
So those are some of the goals of the season, and tomorrow is an opportunity for you all to vote for them, and I've got my preference and my favourites of this year, but it's now down to you to pick the one that we've all seen that will, give you the goosebump, or tell you, I remember seeing that goal and it was an absolute ringer. So there's a few to pick out from. Omar Bugila and Tommy Wright's strikes were of note for me. Rob Milson's free kick against Torquay, the last free kick we've scored. Who knows when the next one will be. So it's time to go back in time again. This time we're going to go back to a couple of years to March 2018. Yesterday you saw the game against Lincoln, which was a very good game, I'm sure. But this one goes a year forward in the National League, and it's at home to Chester. A very close game. We already beat Chester away from home earlier in the year by 3-2. Those who will see what's about to happen will remember how hectic a game that was too. So, hopefully with that sorted, because I'm sorry for the last one, I had forgotten to put the video in. That will not happen again in the future. We're about to show you what is a pulsating football match, commentated by Sohail Sahi, and you're probably going to enjoy the next 10 or so minutes.
To go then for Sutton as they pursue Macclesfield at the top of the National League, and today's visitors to Gander Green Lane is Chester, who currently occupy 23rd position in the table. We beat them earlier on this season in a 5-goal thriller up at their place. Can we do the same today? If we do manage to win, we'll end up being top of the pile come 5 o'clock. Paul Doswell makes a change to his 11 that lost last Saturday away at Maidstone. Dean Beckwith comes into the back four. So off we go. And it's Chester who are attacking the Gander Green Lane in the first half. Samuel Allison, your referee today. Sutton are chasing top spot in the National League. Nicely done by Jamie Butler. Our chief producer James still wants him to score his first goal for the club. To win us the title. Well, one back by Eastman from Crawford in towards the near post where Tommy Wright was lurking. Well defended. 11 minutes played. It's gone all the way through. Collins is lurking. Right, smart save from Andy Firth, the Chester goalkeeper. Eastman drives it forward. John wins the header. Beautyman! Oh, that's the opening goal! And it's Harry Beautyman via a deflection. His first goal since he rejoined the club. And the early pressure from Sutton has paid off. And it's Sutton 1, Chester 0, Harry Beautyman. Collins, back to Stern. Good low delivery in, took a deflection. Short to Collins, back to Stern. Harrison, it's there! Oh no, he's offside. Stern fires it in. Beckwith wasn't far away. Again, you know, with Ross Stern taking it, it'll be a fantastic delivery. Here it comes, high towards the far post. Wright's there. Wright wins the header. And it's gone in. It's an own goal. And it's the second goal for Sutton. Just what they needed going into the break. And once again, a fantastic delivery from a corner kick by Ross Stern. Wright headed it back into the mix. And it's gone in off a Chester player. But no one cares. It's Sutton 2, Chester 0. Pushed out the penalty area. Now to Voss. And John clears to the halfway line. And there goes the half-time whistle. And it's Sutton who are comfortably in the lead at the break by 2. So yeah, Nathaniel Rowe-Turner, another name I'm sure I've mentioned somewhere this season alongside Miles Anderson. I'm sure he turned out for Torquay at one time. So referee Samuel Allison gets us underway for a second time. It's the second half and Sutton are attacking their favourite part of the ground, the Gander Green Lane. Ironic cheer. There's a spooned clearance by the captain Ryan Astles, goes out of play. So Ross Stern places the ball very carefully in the quadrant. Sutton, crowded penalty area, runs right across the 6-yard box. Bolorina wasn't far away from connection from another fantastic corner kick taken by Ross Stern. Remember when he played for Eastleigh last season against us. A delivery from that side resulted in a goal. Falls to Davies! Wasn't far away. On the half volley, always rising. Thuds into the terracing in the Gander Green Lane. Taken by Aswad Thomas, headed away by Roberts. Out forward by the Chester defence. Bolarinwa gets there before Voss. And Stern has to go back to Eastman. Slices his clearance. And now Astles clears. Beckwith fouled Akatunde. You can see Roberts with a free kick. Flicked on, and it's gone in. And that's what Sutton didn't want. But Chester have got a goal back out of absolutely nothing. It was a free kick given away when they didn't really need to give the free kick away. Put into the penalty area. And Chester are back in this game. Sutton 2, Chester 1. Sutton win a throw-in. Not sure where James has disappeared. It's the longest tee in chocolate. Oh, here he comes! I can see him just coming through the entrance. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Shot comes in! Oh, that was a cracking goal from Ross Stern. Some strike. Really was an absolutely beautiful strike. And worthy of all 3 points. It's Sutton 3, Chester 1. And that's the goal of the day. Chester with possession. Captain Hastel's on the halfway line. Lifts it towards this near left-hand side to Roe Turner. White goes infield. Good football this by Chester, and the referee points to the spot. See that coming? Yeah, it was a shoulder. So White against Butler, and it's 3-2. There'll still be a couple of minutes to play. Still in proceedings. The referee will add it on. Sutton leading Chester by 3-2. Butler with the free kick. Sends it out to play. Deep in Chester's right full-back area. Level with the edge of their own penalty box. They'll have to take this throw in. Sutton needs to keep them penned into their own half, but they clear the ball up towards the halfway line. Harrison wins it back. Yeah, didn't get the break of the ball. And there goes the full-time whistle, which sends Sutton to the top of the National League. A nerve-jangling final 5 minutes, but they win by 3-2. Harry Buteman put Sutton into the lead, then it was an own goal, made it 2-0 just before half-time. Chester pulled one back, and then Rostone with a cracking third, and then Chester from the penalty spot through Harry White, and a very, very nervous final 5 minutes. But Sutton beating Chester by 3-2, lead the National League with 7 games to go, and it's over to Macclesfield on Tuesday night. Full time, Sutton United 3, Chester 2.
Awful 3 points, top of the table. Slightly strange game.
Yeah, it was really. I thought we were very comfortable at half time at 2-0. Credit to Chester, they kept going. Obviously got their goal back. We then scored an absolute screamer from Sterney at 3-1, and you think that's game over. Soft penalty from the referee with 10 minutes to go gave them something to keep sort of fighting for. So I thought it was a comfortable win. We should have finished the game off a lot earlier. But again, credit to Chester, they kept going.
7 games to go and top of the table.
Yeah, still game at a time. I mean, Boreham Wood lost today. They've gone from 3rd down to 5th, so it's going to still be snakes and ladders. But all this team can do is keep doing what they're doing every game, which is in the main winning. So we'll wait and see.
Well, Marcus, on the wrong end of the result in the end, but were you pleased with the spirit shown late on?
Yeah, no, I'm sure you guys would agree that certainly was in a game, and obviously we're disappointed not to come away with a point in the end in terms of our second half performance.
First half was mainly all Sutton, but came back strongly in the second half, and right at the end looked as though you might nick a point.
Yeah, no, we were disappointed with our first half. I think we got the process wrong. We tried to play before we earned the right to play, and Sutton were full credit for their lead, and obviously conceding the way we did just on the stroke of half time could have really deflated us, but we came out second half, and I think you all could see the response we had, and so we got ourselves back in the game, and then to suffer a cruel deflected goal, I was right behind it, super finish by the lad, but it took a deflection, could have deflated us again, but we bounced back, got ourselves back in the game. Like I said, late on we could have certainly got a third goal.
A very good performance from Sutton that day, and they certainly proved their, at the time, playoff ambitions. Who knows what it could have been had they kept on going. It was unfortunate though that they fell short against Boreham Wood that season, but that day was a very good day and a very good performance as well from Paul Doswell's side, as they put aside Chester in some fashion. Chester obviously now in the National League North, and they are progressing well, and they have joint managers as well nowadays, so hopefully that works a treat up there. So that's it from us here at SGFC TV tonight. Hopefully you've enjoyed our insight into the women's team and women's football in general. Ultimately, we have had some issues with trying to get guests on this week, which will be expanded further into the week. I can't tell you why right now, but there will be a show later this week explaining further as to why we couldn't get any of the more notable names that you know and love on the show. But we have opportunities available to us, and this week we could have the important Larry Pritchard testimonial, so you could see that on the channel shortly. With myself commentating on it, I just got to get around to recording it first. But thank you very much everyone for joining me again on this Sunday night. It's been a pleasure bringing it to you. Hopefully next week we'll have something different. We'll try and get Marvin Williams on, hopefully, to talk about the youth setup and his thoughts on obviously the season and how he runs things in the background. And also Steve Beggar, so we have 2 guests on this next week. Hopefully have them on and giving their thoughts on their time at Sutton United, and also bringing their insight into the game as a whole. But from me here at chilly South London, it's warm inside here but it's cold out there. Wash your hands, stay safe, stay healthy, stay home. We want football badly. We all want to be able to enjoy our Saturdays and sometimes mull over them in the pub after the game as well. But if we're going to do that, we've all got to stick together now and make sure that we get through this in our houses, taking care of our hygiene and also making sure everyone else around us is healthy and fine. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next week. But until then, toodaloo.